Hello and welcome to the second First Class Cricket Academy podcast. In today's podcast, we will be talking about the different coaching methods that different coaches will have, and also the different mindsets in different countries that players have as well. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started.
Guys, I've got Raj here, head of cricket FCCA. We've got Ollie de Havas, who's a FCC cricketer, plays for the Sussex in the pathway as well at Sussex, and he's at Worth School in Year 12. And we've got Akshay Ramani, who's an old Worth boy, and he was at Sussex for a bit, and now he's playing cricket in Calcutta in India. So a bit about Akshay. Akshay came to Worth was it Year 9? Akshay came.
Yeah, Year 9. Yeah.
He came in Year 9, and he was at Worth for 4 years in total in the end?
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, 1 year off. So he was at Worth in Year 9. That's where he first met Raj, and we're going to just speak to Akshay about his experiences of playing cricket in India and playing cricket in England, and how he, how his cricket journey's panned out so far. So the first question is for Akshay, so Akshay, what to you is different compared to England in India? So what would you say Raj's coaching style is? Is it similar to England? Is it similar to India? What are your experiences of that so far?
Yeah, so firstly, hi to everyone. So honestly, Raj is everything about as much as an Indian coach can be, because we always harp on basics, and we always want to make sure our basics are rock solid, and then that's when you can build upon that. So, and he's tried, and I know he's been really successful in doing that in England right now, because I've seen the group of cricketers coming right now from Worth, from FCCC. I've seen that the kind of things Raj is trying to instill in all the players. I've seen that firsthand right now in India over here. So it's just the basics. I mean, keeping it simple and just hard work, because it all comes down to hard work and keeping it simple. Because the more you complicate it, the more options you'll have, and then you'll be confused what to choose. And yeah, so Raj's mantra is just keep it simple, and you'll be fine. So to just conclude, his coaching is bang on as to what an Indian coach in India would be. So
yeah. And Havas, you've been coached by Raj for about how many years? Have you been coached for about 6-7 years now?
Yeah.
So you've been coached by Raj for about 6-7 years, and you've been part of Worth Cricket and part of the FCCA Academy. So what do you think? How do you think that coaching style has helped you out in your journey?
I think the style of coaching has probably helped me out the most is, like Akshay was saying, just keeping to the basics and not really overcomplicating things. I think you can, especially in England, you can grow up in this country to want to play cricket, but you think it's all about hitting boundaries. But actually, the thing that I've taken into account is that it's not. To make a cricketer, you need to go and practice basics. You can't go and fast forward your step. So where, let's say, Joe Root, Virat Kohli, Kane Williamson, you can't go and be at that level until you have done the basics and you have played age group cricket and gone up the ranks.
Yep. And Raj. So Raj, how do you think your way of coaching has changed or adapted over the years? I guess as a coach, you're always trying to find ways to improve or look for the next thing to, give you that bit of difference compared to other people. So how do you think you've adapted your coaching, or if you have, from when you first started out?
There's been a lot of changes in the fact that I always try, and I'll openly admit I'm a bit drill maker. So I keep on looking for good drills for any discipline, whether it is batting, bowling, fielding. I'll always look for that. But I will never ever compromise on the basics of the game. Now, I put it in a different way slightly. If someone is trading the markets, right, and there are two ways of doing it. Either you are doing it long term, or you are doing it for the short term. So if you're doing it for the long term, you're investing, and if you're doing it for on a daily basis, you're trading. Okay. So long term investors always look at the fundamentals of a company. All right. And
Mm.
short term investors look at the current trend or the market sentiment or the local news or the happening in the world today. Right. I don't look at the trend. I look for fundamentals. So that is my policy. It is for the long term, and it is looking on fundamentals. How are you going to make the player strong
Mm.
so that that person has got the ability to adapt later?
And make the right decisions
Yeah,
when they get.
everyone, see, no one is going to stop growing.
Mm.
All of you, say, when you started at word school, right?
Mm.
You couldn't hit a ball off the square.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but but from the start, there was some good fundamentals in your game,
Yeah.
right? Now, I don't have any, people might call me arrogant or whatever. I don't care. But if there was another coach at that point at the school and he saw you, he wouldn't have picked you to play in the first team at the age of 14.
Mm.
He would have picked up a big rugby boy who could go and muller the ball over mid wicket and give up the game once he left school.
How have you found the selection process, or being selected for teams different compared from England to India?
Yeah, I've actually found
Have you
them.
found a difference? Have you seen a difference, or what's your
Yeah,
experience?
firstly, they have been very, very different because I still remember in 2018, I'd gone for Surrey under 17 trials. And I remember batting really well and bowling really well, but then I was not selected. And so then I remember it has to be down to maybe my body language or more so how I was presenting myself on the field. Maybe that's why they didn't pick me. And and then they didn't look at that when they saw me for the first time. They didn't see that athlete in me,
Mm.
so they shunned me straight away. They said, okay, so what if you can hit a ball as good as anyone? So, but because I didn't have that athlete kind of a look, they didn't pick me. But over here, it's were you going to say something?
Well, so do you think the criteria is different from England to India to be
Yeah, of
selected?
course. I mean, obviously, I do agree that you do need good fitness and you need to show that you got good body language and etc. But then I feel that in England they emphasize on that a bit too much, and in India they do less of that. Even now, I
Yeah.
mean, they might say India is really a fit country. India is improving their cricket in terms of fitness, but I've been seeing it at my level in club cricket and whatever state cricket I've seen over here. It's not so much. They look at more still skill overweight, overpowers fitness or athleticism, for example. So that's the big difference in selection I've seen and I've experienced as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's because of a certain difference. So the difference mainly happens is skill is not measurable, right? In England, all the selection happens mainly on things which are measurable, which you can put on a spreadsheet. Okay, right. So how much you bleep, how much, what's your squat, squatting
Fat
weight,
percentage or something.
what
Yeah.
is your bench press weights, and all that. Because even for a non-cricketer, that is easy to measure.
Yeah. See,
Would
I
you
just
say? Go on, actually, go
sorry
on, go
to
on.
interrupt. I just wanted to add to so an experience, a small experience in 2015/16 in that season when I was in year 10. I still remember we were playing a game against Christ Hospital and we were 130 for three chasing 180 odd. I was batting on 50 and this new batsman came into bat. Due to my lack of fitness, I chipped the ball and I got out cheaply. And personally, I thought I did very well because for a year 10 guy scoring a 50 first team, I was like, okay, I'm only going to hear good things about myself. So cut to, we lose the game. We bowled out for 150 and then we have a team meeting. So I'm like, can't be that bad because personally I did well. And then Raj enters, and then I'm like, he doesn't look too happy, and he basically told me you're unfit and you're fat, and if you can't play cricket at the highest level if you're unfit like this. And at the time I was like, why is he being so harsh? And I was in tears because I could not think. I was not mature enough to think about what he actually meant. And so then I used to hate Raj. That's why. And then going back to India and then becoming more mature as a person, I've understood that he wanted he only wanted me to get better. So because he saw something in me, that's why he said those things to me. And he said those things and what he actually meant when he said those things. So that's the big transition I've had with Raj, with my relationship with him. So
Yeah, and it would have been easy for Raj to go and pat you on the back in year 10
yeah,
and go,
exactly.
actually, you've got 50. And then you wouldn't have learnt that actually you wouldn't have learnt, you would have thought, oh, I've batted well today. But the reality of the game was a worth batsman got in, made 50, got out, lost by 30 runs. So
Yeah,
a different coach might have gone and actually gone and patted you on the back, given you man of the match. Raj, the only way you learn from that is if
yeah.
you do get sometimes something said to you that you don't want to say, don't want to hear. Sorry. So Raj, you've coached in a couple of different countries. You've been in England, obviously, for a number of years. India, South Africa. What was something from your South African experience that you've kept hold of or really stood out to you and you really enjoyed about being there and coaching?
The before I come to the South African thing, I just take one thing from what Akshay and Havas was saying. Right now, I understand what they're talking about, and with Akshay, the first day I saw him, right, he had come for a session at FCCA. He hadn't joined word school at that point, and I saw that this kid can bat. Okay, if you tinker a bit, he can bat. But obviously, his fitness was nowhere near where
Didn't let
it
him down, yeah.
needed to be. But the main thing was his basic skills. He could bat and bowl. That was right. So if you push that boy in the right way, he's going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. And one thing people got to realize is my job is not to prepare players to attend the Queen's Garden party. In that case, they need to go to an etiquette coach. My job is to prepare them to enter into situations which are uncomfortable and feel comfortable. Okay. When
Yep.
Virat Kohli was scoring runs against England in the last series, it wasn't a comfortable situation for him. Okay. The ball is moving around. India under the pump. Slips and short leg telling him things which are not pleasant to hear. Anderson telling him the same thing. The crowd against him. So that is not a comfortable situation to be in. Okay. So a lot of people make the mistake that they try to make it comfortable. No. If he is a decent player, okay, he is going to be a hobby player, right? Then make it comfortable.
So actually, what would be your message to young players who are starting the game now or maybe starting their cricket journey at schools or clubs or with Raj? What would you give? What would you say your message is? Any advice for them?
Right. So I mean, firstly, the word I like to use is just to be patient because for you to get hold of those skills in cricket, because cricket, as Raj probably would say, it's a very unnatural game, as he says. So it takes a lot of time, and to persevere and be patient and stick to the basics. It's always hard because always a small child would always want to just hit a ball hard or just bowl fast, do the easy things. So my only message to them is persevere, be patient, and just keep at it. Because if you've done the hard yards, and say a young guy who's 17 as well, if you put in the yards for 5 years, don't let it go to waste because you've put in the hard yards. It's just about taking it longer and just being patient and being true to yourself and just hard work, patience, and perseverance. Those are my three words for any youngster wanting to play cricket anywhere around the world. So yeah, because
And
for example, I've seen a few players. I know a few players personally who, for example, I'll just take the name Krishan, for example. So it's very unfortunate that he stopped playing cricket because of whatever reason. So my only message is he's put in the yards. We all know he's put in the yards. He's a good player, but he just was not patient enough to persevere. So my message would be just to be patient and hold on, because results will come if you put in the yards. Yeah.
And Havas, what would your message be to young players going FCCA?
Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate your game. Stick to the basics, and the results will come.
Raj, final word from you. Your message about coaching to young kids.
My message would be very, very simple. Keep doing the big stuff first. Get to a certain level, and things will work out, because you know it. You've done it. Any attacking shot in cricket, okay, with a straight bat, is just extent of your defense. You extending your defense. That's your attacking shot. Now, if I have to teach someone, right, how to hit a waist high full toss to mid wicket, right, then that person has missed something. You don't teach something which is natural, right? So cutting it down to absolute basics, or at a lower level, when a kid is growing up, you don't teach the kid how to pee, poo, or throw up, because that's natural. But you teach a kid table manners, because that is unnatural. And for that, but yeah, I would say just harp on the basics. Get to a certain standard first. Then you
That's
start
what you always.
their 1%ers, like Havas. Okay, I'll tell you a story about Havas if I embarrass him or whatever. Right. When he came to first class for the first time, right, he's a lovely lad. Everyone knows that, right? And I've got time for that. Okay, but he couldn't play. He had good hand-eye. He could not play.
No.
But to be fair to him, from year 9 to now, he has been more consistent than me, whose job is it to be in the sports hall, Okay, so there will be a statue of him almost in that sports hall. And he's worked so hard, right? And I made it uncomfortable for him, because you know how I set up the nets. So
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that the better players have to hang together, right? Because that's
Yeah.
only when they get challenged.
Yeah.
And players who are not ready, they see what they are looking to get to.
To get to you.
Yeah, as simple as that. You don't mix. There is no
No.
integration. No. There is no integration there. Okay, they can integrate off the cricket field, that's fine. But during cricket, they need to know their places. Where am I? Which level am I? And so with Habas, what used to happen is he was very keen to get into the end net. Okay, he was very keen to get into the end net. And I just made him keep on doing the basic stuff till you're good enough to get into that net. He got the message. And so he worked hard there to get into the end net.
He knew what he needed to take to get there,
Yeah. So, but people don't want to do that. With Akshay's case, what was happening? Because of Akshay's background, everyone was trying to milk him. Everyone was trying to milk him because if they can keep milking him, they make more money. Okay. I could have milked him, but that's the last thing I wanted to do. If I milked him, I wouldn't have made him cry. Isn't it? Okay. He used to literally, he's admitted to me, he used to avoid me in school.
Yeah, I can say a few things about that.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So see, I mean, this is in 2014 and 15. So I remember because we used to have a few characters in our team like Tim Chandler or Max River, for example, and they used to mess around a bit in the team. And as a kid, for me, I used to look at Raj. He used to have that intense look. He never used to say anything. And then I'm like, I'm in it. I have to be on, otherwise I'm gonna be sent off. And I used to try and avoid him all the time. I used to try to run away from him. Even though I couldn't run, I used to try and run away from him. And he used to catch a hold of me. He knew I did not want to field. I did not want to do fitness. He used to make sure I'll do it. And then every time I used to complain of him hitting the ball hard while fielding, he hits it even harder. And I'll be like, only if I could throw the ball hard enough at your face or something, because that was unpleasant. So, but then, as he said, those unpleasant experiences is what you keep doing them, it becomes second nature. And then
So I think that concludes our chat today. So thanks to Raj, thanks to Havas, and thanks especially to Akshay for coming down as well. Hope to all see you guys soon when cricket can come back to normal and we can get back in the sports halls again.